grandparents are not designed to be the primary caregiver of grandkids. But, and there's a but here, but they are vital enhancements to the grandkids' experiences.
What's happening, y'all? This is Mike D with Black Fathers Now, where we're bringing the village to the brothers. Every couple of weeks, you can look forward to a quick inspirational message or a thought-provoking guest with knowledge and wisdom, all geared towards helping you be the best father that you can be. We're bringing the village to you. Now it's your turn to do something with what you learned. All right, y'all. Let's go.
What's going on, fellas? This is Coach Mike D, Mr. Double Down on You, with another episode of Black Fathers Now. And I hope y'all are having an amazing day. You're doing your thing, as always. And, I hope you do something fun as well. Life is to be enjoyed. We're supposed to enjoy life. Yes, we have to work. Yes, we have to toil at times and all of that good stuff. But let's also prioritize having some fun, because we shouldn't just be dragging through life. I mean, when things are a drag, you tend to despise it. So, yeah, let's not make life that drag. Okay. So today's episode, I'm going to throw something out there, and it was an interesting perspective and observation, and it might fly in the face of some people's reality, but this is what I believe to be true. Grandparents are not designed to raise grandkids. Grandparents are not designed to be the primary caregiver of grandkids. Yeah, I know that's it's challenging, right? Because there's a lot of us that were actually raised well by our grandparents. There's a lot of individuals who, due to various circumstances, in life, their grandparents, stepped up and took the responsibility to effectively raise them. And kudos, shouts out to all the grandparents who took the mantle of being the primary caregiver of grandkids and sometimes even great grandkids, right? But the reality is, grandparents are not designed to be the primary caregiver of grandkids. Now, where is that coming from? I was blessed to have all four of my grandparents when I was born, right? I was blessed to have all four of them. And I had at least one grandparent up until right before I turned 40. So I was almost 40 years old, and I still had a grandparent that was living. So I had a rich experience with my grandparents. My kids, my wife and I's kids, are blessed to have all four of their grandparents here, alive. Now, they live in different cities. Like, we live in Tennessee, and one set of grandparents lives in Georgia. The other set lives in California. But we're still blessed that our kids have four grandparents. And we're blessed to live in an era where we have things like FaceTime and Duo and, all these different communication apps so that our kids can get regular FaceTime with their grandparents. They can talk to their grandparents literally every day. It's not like way back in the day where long distance calls were expensive and you had to limit it. No, they literally talk to their grandparents, or they have the ability to talk to their grandparents just about every day. Now, we'd love to have more physical interaction, but the reality is we don't live locally. So that's something that we have to travel to, or they travel to come see us, which, we do on both sides. But again, grandparents are not designed to be the primary caregiver of grandkids. Now, again, like I mentioned before, there are circumstances in which, that has to happen, right? There's circumstances in which, There is no other alternative. And so therefore a grandparent takes the mantle, takes responsibility, and to the best of their ability, they make it happen. And there are a lot of grandparents who do amazing job. There are a lot of grandparents who have raised multiple grandkids, again, due to various circumstances. But the design is not that. And the reason I keep going back to the concept of design is that when we think about order and when we think about how we are set up, we're set up in a way that we bring value based off of the stage of life that we're currently in. And when you spend time with grandparents and when you spend time with great grandparents, they have the wisdom and the life experience to pour into children and to pour into even adults wisdom that they've yet to experience, because that grandparent or that great grandparent has been there. They've been around the block a few times. They've lived through, various eras. They've lived through various time periods and different tumultuous things that are going on. A lot of the things that we experience now, when you sit down with your elders, they'll tell you like, hey, yeah, 58 years ago, we experienced something similar with this. And it's interesting because they can bring perspective. They can bring context. They can give you that wisdom that you can then look and apply to your life. But you can also, because we are designed to be the primary caregivers as parents, we now are a little closer to the action, and we have the ability to contextualize their experiences from a generation before to make it relative or relevant for kids today. See, when I think about parents, the actual parents of children, we are uniquely designed to be that bridge between our grandparents and our children. We're designed to be the bridge between the grandparents and the children. Because of our lived experience, we have a little bit more lived experience than our children. We have the ability to give them and pour wisdom into them. But because we are closer to the action, we have the ability to recognize and contextualize these experiences more so in a way that's relevant and relative to the current experience of our children. And the reason I was mentioning the concept that grandparents are not designed to be the primary caregiver of grandkids is that there is a big gap between the experience that they had and the experience that the grandchildren are having. And there needs to be some type of bridge for that experience to be contextualized so that it can be fully relevant. Because what went on in the 60s or 70s, there may be some concepts or principles that translate into the 2020s. But the reality is that was a totally different time. And if the lived experience of the person narrating what went on is based in the 60s, the 70s, or how they experienced life, it doesn't always resonate with with the current ecosystem. So that's why when you start thinking about parents being the bridge between grandparents and the grandkids, we are uniquely positioned to help to transcribe that wisdom in a way that our children can get, in a way that our children can understand, in a way that our children can really be in a position to take action on the lessons learned. But it's interesting. I understand circumstances. I understand sometimes there's no other way. Grandparent has to take it and make it happen, and they have to do their job of learning and trying to stay relevant and understand what's going on now and I get that, right? I get it. There are some situations in which you just have to do what you have to do. And again, this is not any slight to grandparents who are the primary caregivers. I'm just saying from the standpoint of design, we are designed as parents to be the primary caregiver. Our grandparents are designed to be an enhancement to that experience because they bring a lot more life experience and a lot more wisdom. They are designed to be enhancements. And so spending time with my parents and my wife's parents, which are our kids' grandparents, I really get a full understanding of how their time with our kids is an enhancement to what we're doing. But I also at times get the understanding that their experiences are also rooted in a time prior to this relative time period that we're living in right now. So we need that bridge, and my wife and I serve as that bridge to contextualize that wisdom in a way that makes sense for our kids to apply to their life. So really what I'm saying is we are all needed. Kids are needed because we got to have somebody to carry the torch when we're gone. Parents are needed. We are the primary caregivers, and we're the ones who pour into our children the most. We also are the ones that are responsible for filtering the things that come in and contextualizing them in a way that they can utilize and they can apply to their lives. Grandparents and great-grandparents are life enhancers for the experience of our children. We have to spend time with our elders to get the wisdom and the experience and the things that they went through and how they, overcame this and how they moved from this part of the country to that part of the country and how they dealt with segregation and busing and school integration and stuff back in the day, how they dealt with all of these things. We need all of that. These are life enhancers. But then we need my generation, the parents, to then serve as the contextualizers, if that's a word, right? The ones who transcribe these experiences. Because the thing is, if we don't effectively transcribe these experiences, then the kids or the grandkids won't ever get it. They won't ever be able to take that information and be able to use it effectively. And that's the thing, information and knowledge. Our last episode was about knowledge is not power. It's not the knowledge. It's the practical application of that knowledge. So for that knowledge to be practically applied, we have to find ways to make sure that it's contextualized in a way that the individual that's receiving it will actually receive it. Okay? So back to my initial thesis, grandparents are not designed to be the primary caregiver of grandkids. But, and there's a but here, but they are vital enhancements to the grandkids' experiences. So if you're a grandparent, if you're a grandfather, grandmother, if you're listening out there, continue to enhance the life of the kids. If you're a parent that has your parents still alive and, you're currently raising kids, serve as that bridge to transcribe the experiences of your parents to your children. They need that wisdom, but they also need you to transcribe it in a way that they can get something from it and apply it to their lives. And if I'm talking to you now and you still have grandparents, maybe even great-grandparents still alive, maybe you have great-great-grandparents still alive, who knows, right? Spend time with them. Spend time with your elders. There is so much wisdom that's flowing through their experience that you have to get out. And so I encourage you to spend time with your elders, spend time with your grandparents, your great-grandparents, if you have them still alive, and allow them to just pour into you. Spend time with people, learn. But when you learn and when you listen, think through the lens of contextualizing their wisdom and their experiences to improve your current life, to improve how you currently operate, to learn and process what's going on around you. Because a lot of the answers that we seek are sitting right in front of us. Sometimes we just got to go back All right. All right. Well, hey, I hope this was cool, man. Literally, leave some comments in the chat on whatever platform you're listening to this on, and let me know what you think, man. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. And as always, y'all be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.
Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And always visit blackfathersnow.com, as well as follow Black Fathers Now on virtually every social media platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Just follow us and engage with us, man. Look forward to hearing from you. And I guess until next time, I'll holler at you. Peace.